Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. President Uhuru Kenyatta is still in Bondo, and today he decided to visit Raila Odinga's graveside a day after his burial that was heavily intoxicated and really by the politics of the moment. And this video has been going viral. It was shared of Uhuru Kenyatta paying his last respect in Bondo for the man that really hold a dear, from the family, to share time with the family that is very close to Odinga family. We may not agree. We may not want to agree with this. But I think Odinga family and Kenyatta family, throughout even the political career of Odinga, they were never enemies. They were never enemies. And political reciprocity that Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to be achieved in 2022 that failed. I tend to believe that it was in the dream of the son of Jomo that one day Raila would become the president of the country. His trust and belief in Raila, according to me, was more genuine, organic, and powerful than even the MPs that were shouting about Baba loyalty. Even when you listen, even those experts, those MPs who took the microphone and praised how Baba made them, when the Baba's mortal remains were lowered, they went back to their choppers and flew to the comfort of their homes. That his act of going back to that gravesite, it shows the emotional connection. It shows the genuine love, the act of kindness, and the permanency of relationship with the Odinga family. Permanency. And I need to say this, that I know in Luo culture, I don't know how to say it in English, there's something called Yueyoliel. Ordinarily, what happens in this act is after someone is dead, Yueyoliel is this practice where after burial, people remain there to hang around the family, to just mourn and console with them for some 3 days. And I know when I talk to my Wazes say that it was done so that you guys eat the food that is remaining there. You know, I normally see some people, wajaluo wanakula sana kwa matanga. So that part of UALL actually, remember sometime, when our papa also died, our father died sometime, mpaka tukakula ile kichwa ya mbuzi, kichwa ya ng'ombe. So Uhuru, I'm not saying that's what he did, but it is also within the cultural, it's also within the cultural rights space. There are so many things that people saw there that also, let me take this opportunity to try to bit explain. I may not get all of it right. You see, the act of body lowered there with the fedora and the fly whisk, it is also something symbolic of Mzee. And according to me, it could be something that Mzee maybe said, or they felt those are the things he loved most. So They wanted probably feel to appease the spirits with it. I was told someone was looking for ile Bible 2018. Yeah, ile alifanya now swearing in Nyayo, not Nyayo, in Uhuru Park. That one was, they were looking for it to be part of the museum. So ikwe hapo so that ukienda utaonyeshwa alipokuwa sworn, alipojiswear in as the people's president, alitumia that Bible. It was supposed to be museum, but I think they've decided to keep it. Now, yesterday, did you realize the story about Kindiki saying that, we are hurrying, we need to bury fast, we are hurrying. We were watching home and I knew Kindiki doesn't know what he's saying. Raila was buried at exactly around 5:30. Hiyo ndio time ya kuzika mzee. Initially they started had a program of kuzika mzee tutaenda tupige speech 3 saa 7 tumemaliza. No, bana. And I think that is not even a Luo, but your time ndio kuzika mzee. Mzee anazikwanga your time, your jioni, mwisho. Yes. That will be one of the other aspects that will have played there. Now, the presence of Uhuru in Bondo has played a big role in deflating the ethnic vitriol that some of the politicians that have activated their survival modes were trying to do to consolidate some numbers around them. I really regret that I join those who regret that Rigathi Gachagua did not attend and was not part, didn't show probably his last respect by attending the burial of Odinga. I regret that. And I've seen, and I also regret the fact that some people are taking advantage of that to plant some ethnic that, and you'll hear them saying, wale ambao walidharau baba wakati wa mwisho hatutasahau. I will see them doing that, and they're trying to create some tribal wedge on it. But I want to be very pragmatic here. I want us to be genuine. Kama uliwatch zile speeches, Wanga, Millie Odhiambo, Expert Mbadi, Opiyo Wandayi, and who else? Those ones, Junet. Do you think that environment was friendly for Rigathi Gachagua? Do you think, if I want you to be Rigathi, wewe ungeenda hapo, I want you to imagine if you would have been there, how would it be? Two things would have happened. Some heckling, some pelting stone, this and that, some confusion there. And then, Rigathi Gachagua watu wanatoka na jina yake, alienda kuharibu mazishi ya baba. Now, either way, attending or not attending, political scavengers were trying to map out and script how they can plant the ethnic vitriol against Rigathi. And maybe if you ask me, that is it. Angeenda aende. Nangeenda, that would be it. Either way, I know that we want to say because Raila attended Rigathi Gachagua's burial, but they had a personal relationship with them, and Rigathi is not Raila. Raila was there, and Rigathi is not Raila. And number two, by the time Raila attended Rigathi Gachagua's burial in Nyeri, yes, they were antagonists with Uhuru Kenyatta, but Uhuru is not William Ruto. Rigathi is keen antagonist with William Ruto, but William Ruto is not Uhuru Kenyatta. That big difference between the two. And it will be in the interest of William Ruto for Rigathi to be humiliated in such a burial. I know, when Uhuru had a possibility, and his handlers had a possibility of mobilizing goons to humiliate Raila in Nyeri. Hawa Wakenya kwanza, hawa watapanga. Hey. So and I'm saying this. Luo Nation is making a big mistake by planting the ethnic, by doing the ethnic divisive politics simply because they want to survive. I know they want to survive. But this is the time for the ODM party to change the trajectory. And instead of talking about tribe A and tribe B and tribe C, they would have spoken about issues. I don't know whether there was a way Raila called a press briefing and said, tribe A ni mbaya, tribe B, we don't want tribe C. I don't think he ever did that. Even him, he differed with Gachagua based on issues. And one of the issues was that Gachagua was very vocal about tribalism. That is the point. And Raila said, watu kosana, but people wakosana on based on issues. It's not a personal difference. And let me show you. Simbarati is blaming Rigathi Gachagua for his underperformance. His first speech while spearheading Mashujaa Day celebrations.
Kwanza nilijua nilikuwa na vita nyingi. Walitaka nipige magoti chini, lakini sikupiga magoti. Na nashukuru wale wote walioniombea. Mmoja yule ambaye alitolewa ofisini alikuwa amechochea hawa viongozi wa serikali. Huyu mtu alikuwa anaitwa Gachagua. Alikuwa ameweka vitina kwa county commissioner hapa. Hawa askari wote walikuwa wananikimbiza kila mahali. Lakini mimi nilisimama, na mimi ni yule tu. Ni vile wakati mwingine naona kwamba ugavana ni kitu kikubwa kidogo na kuesha makali. Lakini sasa kuelekea mbele, kwa sababu nimeona mchezo, siwezi kubali.
Ayub Savola, the deputy governor from Kakamega, was also pushing anti-Rigathi rhetoric while addressing people in Western.
Mheshimiwa Gachagua, hata kama wewe umerogwa, hata kama wewe umelaaniwa, kiongozi Raila hawezi aga na hawezi enda kusaini hata condolence book. Asira gani unayo hiyo? Asira gani unayo hiyo kwa shujaa yetu Raila Amolo Odinga? Hata kama mmekosana na jirani akiaga, the most important thing you are supposed to do is to pay the last respect. Heshima ya mwisho. Hata ukutuma huyo mkora wako Malala alikuwa anazunguka hapa Matungu, hata assign 2 visitors book. Shame on you, Gachagua. Shame on you. And we are watching.
I want to say here, the ODM party and the Raila constituency must rethink. The Luo Nation must rethink the future of their power, purpose, and population. The 3 Ps. Power, purpose, and population. And just to give you a hint about the last one, there was the Mzee Odungiranda. Odungiranda is the Luo Council of Elders. He was also telling us that he might also leave us. But there is something he said that you guys go back, attend to bed matters so that you can give birth to more children to honor Raila.
Achiegi ni giweyo tadwa wachonu no ganda mondo riwre Raila njori wate akwajo Luo nyithi Luo miluongo ni Gen Z riwre uru kiku program mondo kochopo higa 27 to wago kura maber. Yanda wacho ne president ni mondo ng'ejo Luo gwenge ariyo. To kong'iyo wa gwenge ariyo, wabiro ng'iyo gwenge adek. warito kode higni mabiro goeko mondo wane kaka Wuod Lang'o tiyo kodwa. Nyocha an ga ogudu mar wakoni joluo makonge mayando kelona, to joluo gi openja to Bwana Ker, joluo ma un go gin milion adi, sakone gi 1 milion 4, to konu time ang'o gi mon? Uwinjo wachni? Ang'o mono mon nyuol? Akwayo ni kawuono kuwa ka duchak Raila te. Mama.
He was talking about the population, and he really stressed it, that we need our numbers. So honor Raila by getting numbers. But that is not what I mean. I want to address something on the numbers question. Why ODM is making a big mistake to plant and to try to thrive on ethnic vitriol. I am saying this. Odinga did not become Odinga because he planted some hate of tribe A against tribe B. No. No. Odinga became Odinga because he used to say truth to power when that was needed. Raila not thrusting to the national stage was a cocktail of other factors, including networks even beyond the Luoland. I like using this example of the 5 presidential attempts that Odinga made. 2007, look at the Pentagon. We had Mudavadi, Luya, William Ruto, Kalenjin, Najib Balala, Coast. Who was the other person? Joe Nyaga. There was also Charity Ngilu. Yes, there was Charity Ngilu. I'm not sure Ngilu was part of the Pentagon. I'm not so sure. But I'm sure Ngilu was supporting him. I'm not so sure Ngilu was part of the Pentagon, though. Look at 2013. 2013, Raila was vying with Kalonzo Musyoka. He had just served as a prime minister and gotten backing of forces by that time that really did not take cognizance of the fact that Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were fit to hold office because they were facing ICC cases. And because having served as a prime minister, he had made networks both locally and internationally. Look at 2017. The 2017 NASA campaign, the person that negotiated for the NASA team where Raila faced Ruto when we were with Kalonzo Musyoka was none other than Jimmy Wanjigi. I want to give you that. Look at 2022. The Kikuyu billionaires, the heavy-pocketed Kikuyu billionaires are the people that funded Raila Odinga campaigns. Do you realize that if you want to build ODM based on ethnic vitriol of tribe A versus tribe B, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. Who in the current crop of leaders we have now can be able to mount such a successful presidential campaign as what Raila did? Who? Who can? Who can? Uhuru Kenyatta was a dynasty. So it was not difficult for him to pull the numbers, the resources, even in 2013. In 2017, it was state resources. Very easy. William Ruto served as a deputy president for 10 years and mobilized his own resources. By the time he was seeking presidency in 2022, he had his base in 2027 is going to use state resources. Now, I want you to imagine that the only time Raila used state resources was in 2022. In 2013, Mwai Kibaki and the John Michuki and the team were supporting Uhuru Kenyatta. So he was a prime minister, but he didn't get the liberty of using state resources. What am I saying? Why did I go to the length and breadth of explaining all that? At the moment, we cannot afford to mount tribal ethnic politics at this time. I am hearing people saying, Sifuna, we will chase Sifuna. Let me ask you, why do you think Odinga died and he never chased Sifuna? Or I've even heard people saying what Raila told them last minute. Raila ongea na watu wengi, mbona kuna mtu mmoja aliambia nyinyi huo Sifuna sikuwa secretary general? Why do you think he maintained Sifuna? Bwana, akili our friends, akili. We must think. And let me bring another angle to it. You see, when Odinga got to broad-based government, he was given some cabinet slots. And those cabinet slots are almost 5. I think, let me just count. Beatrice School, Joho, Oparanya, Wandai, Mbadi, Attorney General. 6. How many went to Luo? 3. That was AG, Mbadi, and Wandai. Why? Because Odinga alipewa. So alikuwa na liberty ya kugawanya, aseme chukua 3 hawa. He took 1 to Western, he took 1 to Coast, and then he took another one to Northeastern, to Turkana. Ukiangalia zile votes Raila alipata in the last general election, wapi alipata kura mingi? Go and do that research yourself. Wapi alipata kura mingi? Go and do that research. Can you try to look at Ukambani and Central? Chukua kura za Ukambani na Central and Umaji. Ziko ngapi? Just do that math. The 3 counties of Ukambani. Then uchukue the 1.4, around 1 million, around 800,000 that came from Ningapi. Those 2 combined is more than what he got in. So if he was dividing votes, if he was dividing those positions based on loyalty, venye watu walimsupport, do you think Nyanza could only get 1? Do you realize just Nyanza could only get 1? Now what am I saying? I'm saying this, that you cannot build the Nyanza vote is very small. So we cannot avoid to run the politics of isolation. We cannot afford to isolate ourselves. We must. We are not dominant. The other aspect is the Raila crown. When he said it, the king is dead, but long live the crown. What is your understanding about the crown? Raila crown is what Raila stood for. The boldness of what Raila stood for. Raila did not stand for conformity. He stood for equity, justice, quality education, health. He stood for the best, the right thing. And that is why when he got into broad-based deal with William Ruto, there was a 10-point agenda. So if you're not talking about those 10 points agenda, and he said that we'll review them in 2026, if you guys don't want to review it, then are you even taking that Odinga legacy? I believe the destiny bearing is another factor why we cannot afford to run tribal politics. At this moment, we must bear our own destiny. For decades, the talk of crossing over to Canaan has been there. And it's been a hope-hawking narrative. It has been the success. And let me say, it is what we have been made to wait for. And it was domiciled on Odinga. That is why those who seek elective seats will go to Luo Nyanza and tell our mothers that, look here, tunaenda kupigania baba. Tunaenda kupigania baba. I listened to Mbadi lying in camera that Ruto is the Joshua taking us to Canaan. I heard him. Ruto is the Joshua taking us to Canaan. The destiny of the Luo nation, they must bear it themselves. And to prove me, just to prove me, let us give ourselves time. If by 2028, if William Ruto still remain the president, how many Luos will be in that government? And I need to ask this. It is in our hands. Let's try to assume the opposition makes the next government. Where will we be? It is time for other regions. It is time, just like others, instead of this Canaan and destiny domiciled on individuals and rulers and that, it is time for us to look at and say, let us take our children to school and let them do air courses. Let the leadership, Cotton was doing in Sia, doing well in Sia. Let's get out the governors. Odinga brought devolution. Get out and look for resources. Don't sit in Sia waiting for some manna from heaven. Go out and look for investors who can come and invest. Open companies. We've been given devolution. There is CDF. We have a lot. We are not supposed to beg. The only legacy we have to do is to ensure that we are the bearers of our own destiny, just like other places. Look at what Irungu Kenyatta is doing. Has it done that because president comes from that area? No. So the insistence that it has to be domiciled within some sort of a presidency is misguided. Even if Ruto is the president and we are still having employment bureaus in our counties and people are still corrupt and stealing money, will things change? Tuonane baadaye bwana.